ain't gonna work. I'm trying to find these pictures. Oh, there's one with a fish. Damn, the fish is too big. It's like,
I can't cut the fish out. Why don't we just put the picture of the fish?
I know. That's what I was thinking. This is Mike Cardenas.
Just put the picture of the fish. I mean, really, you talked about wanting to get into the character of the people, and I love fishing.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It's so funny, though.
How did fishing come about in your life? Why is that
Yeah,
such a
you
big
seem
part?
to be an avid fisher. I mean, he's,
every weekend?
even
Lately,
more than that.
lately, the whole COVID thing and just needing that day to get out, and my buddies, they started going fishing.
Now, is that your boat or your buddy's boats?
No, those are my kayaks. We go on kayaks, so.
Don't you remember he tipped over
early
morning
I'm
and
afraid to
he
fall
lost
over.
his pliers.
That was bad. That was bad.
An engineer without his pliers? Come on.
Oh, yeah. What do you do now?
That's how he got the hook.
But
in
I
his
had an
thumb.
extra one in my backpack, so because I knew
He
when
has a backup
I
pliers.
almost cursed myself because I bought the extra set of pliers like a few days before that trip.
Really?
Yeah, so it was weird, and I started thinking, what made me buy those pliers? But anyway, so
Impulse buy.
no, brought up camping, fishing. My dad and my uncle. My uncle,
Right.
my dad taught me, and
Where do you fish out of?
out of the Delta, just mostly out of the Delta. San
My
County.
brother, who had a boat, and I think he still has it, he took us catching. You know what that is?
No.
So it's over in like Mare Island,
Okay.
in that area. So there's a place over there where there's like a gazillion fish in this pond, and you
Okay.
just put the thing down, and you're gonna catch something.
Wow.
So it's called catching. I mean,
wow.
and they're like this big.
Wow.
I mean, I was like, oh, this is easy. We got like 30 of them.
Jeez.
We had to throw half of them
Was
back.
there a limit?
Yeah, well, that's just it. We had to throw,
Yeah.
So there was like 6 of us in the boat,
Okay.
and you could only have 3.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah, we had to throw a bunch back because it was like every minute we're just pulling it back up. So I call it catching. It's not even fishing. You're just catching. It's like, really? So we had a refrigerator full of all these fish and we had to give them away. It's like,
Wow.
dude, too many. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I just started growing up fishing, and
Really?
and
Just
then
going
the
camping
guys I
back and
fish
forth?
with, growing up too, the guys that I go fishing with are my friends from middle school.
Wow, that's
Really?
So, yeah, so that just
Yeah,
tells
that's
you
so
how
cool.
long we've been fishing together. So,
Damn, you
and-
guys been fishing since.
And I
middle
swear, we
school.
get
That's
out there
insane.
together, and it's just like we're high school kids again. We're just talking crap and
Did you guys find
in
the
and-
dead body yet?
There was a dead body, yeah.
Yes.
There was a dead body
Really?
found one time. Not fishing, but by my
Stand
buddy's
by me.
buddy's place
I got
of
the
work.
reference.
Actually, I was there working at a couple of fishermen camp. They're like, "There's a dead body. Can we use your phone to call the police?" And there was someone
Holy
wrapped
crap.
up in an extension cord, all bloated up against the bank.
Oh,
Yeah.
and I was just joking. That's
And of
good.
course, I went. My morbid
You,
curiosity.
all kids.
I got it.
I need to go see. I don't want to see, but
You want to see a dead
I have
body?
to.
it's doing one of these things.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
No, I'm not.
yeah,
Hey, you want to see a dead body?
yeah, exactly, yeah. Stand by me, right? Yeah.
Did you poke it with a stick?
No, I didn't. I looked at it and I was like, why did I decide to come look at it?
I regret this immediately.
It really looked like a pale turkey.
Did that stick in your head?
Pale
Yeah,
turkey.
yeah, it was gross.
It stayed in your head for a while.
Wow.
The first time I saw a dead body was at work.
Wow.
This guy, and I worked for United Airlines.
Okay.
And this guy just, I saw him coming in the morning at 5 in the morning.
Okay.
He's coming into work. And I happened to be at a post where he had to come in so I can check their badges. And then, I kind of thought to myself, that guy doesn't look too good, right?
Ooh.
So he goes on. An hour and a half later, I leave that post, I'm going around, and we get a call for a medical emergency. This is a big kind of guy, and they got, mechanics bodies, right?
Yeah.
Because they've been at the job and all they do is eat, and this guy's really big and heavy. And he had to have been at the company at least, at that time, probably about 25, 30 years.
Wow.
Because everybody that works at United doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Everybody dies there.
Oh, wow.
Sure enough, this guy's there. We get a medical emergency. We run over there. And this guy, another mechanic, is straddling him like a horse, doing CPR that way. I'm like,
Wow.
that's wrong. And I can't stop him to start it again,
Yeah.
because, you just don't do that. So I'm like, all right, they call the paramedics and the fire department. Everybody comes out, and the guy dies. So, okay. Since I was the first one there, I had to stay with the body till the coroner got there.
Wow.
They don't put a blanket over this guy, and I'm sitting there like, my eyes just keep doing it because I'm like, is he going to move or
Was he
what?
twitching?
Somebody get a blanket, something? No, the guy was already dead.
No, but they twitch sometimes after they
No, he
die.
didn't twitch, thank God, because
Yeah.
that would have freaked me out even more. And they gave me a couple of days off because of it. 'Cause
Wow.
it's crazy because you see the guy just laying out and nobody put a blanket on him from the go. And, dude, can somebody get something to cover this guy?
Don't they defecate themselves when they...
I don't
possible.
know. Yeah, but like I said, the guy just straddled like this, hitting his belly and trying to give him
Wow.
CPR. I'm like, what are you doing?
So the moral of what I hear of the story is that he knew that something was wrong with him, and he didn't say anything.
Nothing at all.
Yeah,
Nothing
right?
at
He
all.
was like, "Oh, he's gonna die today." That dude.
If
is
he ever
going
looks
to
at
die.
you sideways
Yeah.
and he doesn't laugh right
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
be concerned
Yeah.
for your health.
Yeah, and then he
You
saw a
can
guy
turn me
was
up.
doing
Well,
first aid
so
wrong.
he's
He's
like,
like,
dude, yeah.
I'm just gonna-
yeah.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Half the employees look like that when they walk in.
Okay, all right.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning. They're
They
half
look
asleep.
half dead anyways.
Yeah, so like, okay.
Well, if I look, you'll let me know. Hey, Mike, you don't look so good.
Mike,
I'd
yeah,
appreciate it. Yeah,
We'll let you know. We'll let you know.
and I'll make
for
sure he doesn't straddle you. I'll make sure he does it right.
yeah, I appreciate that.
But I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
These guys are mechanics, and they're just straddling the guy like a
Oh,
horse,
wow.
going,
That's crazy.
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe they were that close.
Jeez.
No, I could have
Just
been.
saying.
Yeah.
But
That's-
but that's like I say, when you see that for the first time, it stays with you because I know that whole image stayed with me for the longest time.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No, you can't get out of your head. It stays in
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
it was-
Really?
it's
How did
weird.
it affect you?
Not-
Nothing terrible. Just
nothing
kind
terrible.
of flash.
But it's just in your head.
It's just in my head, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, ooh, I'd hate to be that guy.
You couldn't eat turkey for a while.
No. Yeah, certain things, yeah. Well, no white meat.
Well, because he said he looked like a bloated turkey, so I'm like, oh, I guess he couldn't eat turkey for a while. Oh God, no.
He's like, no white meat.
No
Yeah,
white meat.
yeah,
no
no.
white meat. Give me the roast instead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, let me ask you
God.
this: where do you think martial arts should go in the future? I mean, because things are changing.
I actually think it's getting smaller and smaller. I think
You think
we're
so?
I think we're a rare breed.
Really?
I think so. I think it's not. I think it's getting smaller and
I
smaller.
remember back in the
Yeah.
days when we did tournaments, hundreds of people would show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Malia
Now,
said that too.
now it's about 100 only.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, I think it's going to continue to dwindle. I think people get comfortable. I think people don't want to put into work into something,
Right.
and they're just everything's a shortcut. They want to find a faster route to get somewhere, and it requires work. And if you have to work to pay rent or pay mortgage, then you got to work on top of that to learn an art that you may not ever use. Maybe
Right.
I think.
Well, ideally, you
Yeah,
don't want
you
to
don't
use
want
it,
to,
yeah.
but I think what happens is
That mentality.
that
of-
mentality
Yeah. Yeah,
is
you're
we're losing that, and that's what I'm afraid of. And I mean, look at us now. We have the learning lab. We have a few people on there, but if you look at our numbers, we're a small percentage of folks that do
It's
training.
funny that you say that because looking at that now, or based on what you just said,
Yeah.
I wasn't scared of it, but I am now.
you're right in that people aren't the people that are learning now
Yeah,
are always the bad guys, right? Because they see MMA,
yeah,
it's glorified violence, so you get these thugs who want to learn how to fight like that, so they can use it in a thuggish way.
Yeah, you do see low kicks a lot more in street fights nowadays.
Yeah.
And what happens is people like us who want to keep it, the chivalry and the whole
yeah.
mystique of being you're in the martial arts, so you're honorable, blah blah blah. That's starting to go away. That part of it I see is disappearing.
Right,
Dude,
right.
you have none of those qualities.
I know.
So what are you talking about, Mystique?
Well, he let a guy die. Came in.
That is true. That's what I'm saying. Where's the
And I didn't even
honor?
have to touch
Where's
him.
the honor?
Yeah, no, but I think you're right. I think we're
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I want to pass down because to me, I wouldn't ask my wife's hand in marriage. I wouldn't have gone to college if it wasn't for martial arts.
Right.
It was played that big a role.
Well, yeah, because it gave
Does
you
your
the
wife know
confidence.
this?
It gave you.
Yeah, I think so. That's
Okay,
why she's more appreciative of me
yeah.
being able to do things like this.
Oh.
Well, and I'm the same way. Before martial arts, I was an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, I was somewhat of a bully. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do things to repent to God to give me a space up there because I did some really fucked up shit.
And they're all booked up.
Yeah, I used to do. I was a real.
Just stay down here with us.
I was a real asshole.
Yeah.
But because I started
Yeah.
learning stuff and I realized what I could actually do to people,
Yeah.
I've become humbled. I've become
Yeah.
nope. I'm not going to.
Oh yeah,
You know.
it is incredibly humbling because it's not just the idea that you can harm other people. You also realize how easily it is to get harmed.
Yeah. It's violent. It's violent. There's no guarantees.
Yeah.
No.
And I think the problem is your ego gets in check.
Yes.
You're not. Normal people fight because they're in fear and they're protecting their ego.
Right.
No, it's the normal reason. But if you already have this confidence, you're like, someone starts talking crap, you're like, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
you
walk
just-
away. When
yeah.
you're younger and you have this ego and machismo, you're
I
like,
didn't walk away a lot back then.
yeah. But I think that's a problem, and so I want to pass that down to my students. And not only that, but when you're showing someone and they're having difficult with it, and then you see that light bulb turn on, and they overcome that.
Yes.
They overcome that obstacle. They can now apply that to real life.
Yes.
At a job interview, they're concerned about something. They want to get promoted, and then they know, well, shit, martial arts, I apply myself and I overcome things. They could take the same concepts
Yeah.
and apply it to life.
And I think that's how a lot of us grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were first starting this, we were like, meek and afraid of everything.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden we're like, oh no, cool, I'm good. You know?
Yeah. And I still don't feel that way. I still feel like I've got a lot to learn.
Oh yeah, I still feel meek. Just
My
more
my nephew
about
coined
it.
the phrase "always a student,"
Right.
Yeah.
and he has it on shirts and everything that he does, and he's a b-boy.
Okay.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
the one I was telling you
Oh,
about
okay, yeah.
that
Yeah.
became a teacher later on
Yeah.
in life.
Nice. Yeah.
And he's going into colleges and stuff, but it became a way for him to to really structure his life that
Yeah.
you're always a student, always be humble, that
Yeah.
learn from whoever, whenever, however.
Right.
And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not going to get anywhere.
You're not
Exactly.
you're gonna stop growing.
Yeah, because
You
this
know?
kid, my nephew, he dropped out of school. I mean, did all the worst thing, got kicked out of the house. I mean, everything you could imagine that would
Yeah.
be bad.
Yeah. He did.
And
Yeah.
he did it, and then all of a sudden, now he's this guy that everybody looks up to,
Community
all over the
leader.
world,
Wow.
globally.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look him up online, and you see his name. It's like, yeah, this guy, he can walk through the worst ghettos in Harlem, and everybody would know him because
Wow.
of the culture that that's behind him.
Nice.
I mean, he's like
That's impressive.
royalty in that. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I'm like, and I didn't know this for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like, who's Polsky? What's that all about?
Yeah.
And then I looked it up. I go, holy shit, he's global. I mean, people fly him from all over the world just to go judge a dance contest or something. It's
Well,
crazy.
he recently told us a story that he was walking in his hometown Union City, and these young kids, like 3 little thuggish kids, came up to him and were pressing him. And then he says, "Where are you from?" And then they claimed where they were from. He said, "Oh, do you know so and so?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's our OG." And he was like, "Okay, well, tell him my name is Polsky," and then see what he says. After that happened, they were like, messed with him again. And he wasn't like
Yeah.
about that life, but he's just so well recognized in the streets because
Yeah.
of his dancing and all the things that he's done that
Yeah.
people just respect him. I mean,
Yeah, he does a nonprofit organization, a nonprofit thing where he teaches inner city kids the breakdancing stuff.
That's
I mean, he's
great.
got a whole thing.
Yeah.
He does a year. He used before COVID. He was doing a yearly Mighty Four thing
in July,
where
right?
he'd be in a park and just teach and do things and just have a good time.
That's cool.
He does a
Bring
lot of
different
wellness
vendors
stuff.
and
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
people, and then just
And then he found out that his uncles teach martial arts, and then come to find out that the way he teaches those people, because he teaches world-class dancers.
Uh-huh.
oh yeah,
I mean, a lot of his dancers that he taught were #1 in the world
Wow.
because of what he did. But he's come to realize, he goes, the stuff that you teach is the same stuff I teach, but with rhythm and this and that. And he saw the correlation, and now he's begun. His son is an excellent fighter, can almost kick his ass. But his son is, like, at the time when he first started, he was like 13.
Wow.
But he grew up in what we do, and you should see the way he moves. It's just, he's very intuitive. The
Yeah.
things that we taught him, it's not even there. It's all the stuff that he just pulled out of what we taught him.
and
Right.
It's crazy.
Nothing phases this kid, even from this little 13-year-old. Now he's like this tall. He's what, 18 now,
Yeah.
and he just walks around like
Yeah.
no care in the world
That's cool.
whatsoever.
He used to go with his dad all over the world.
Oh yeah,
And
that
then
too.
the dad would have him fly back on his own.
Wow.
He'd have a Harry Potter book. He'd be on the plane. Just,
Yeah.
And he wasn't even of age. He was like, I think at the time he was 12 when I got him on a flight, and I pick him at the airport. And he's like, like
That's-
you're all by He goes, yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah. No, I think it's important too if you have a certain skill or you have a certain talent to give back to your community like that. So I like
yeah,
hearing
he was
stories
really
like
good about that. And like I said, I mean, he was a dropout. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
All he ever did was go to 7-Eleven and play video games. And
Right.
his dad finally threw his ass out.
Wow.
And we're like, okay, cool. But now when you look at him and you talk to him, he's so knowledgeable of the world,
Right,
not
right.
just, I mean,
Street smarts and everything.
Oh
else,
yeah, he's he's writing books now.
Very respectful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting ready to publish a couple of his books, and I was like, dude, that's really awesome.
That's cool.
But I still kick his ass.
And he's gained a little weight since COVID.
Yeah. Well, he's trimmed down again.
He's trimmed down
He
again.
went.
finally?
He went to Alaska to be with one of his guys that is an up and coming dancer who's
Okay.
been winning world championships. So he went over to Alaska because he was bored over here doing nothing but COVID, right? So he goes over there for a couple of weeks, and he's showing videos of him exercising and rolling on the floor, and the other guy's just showing him up because he's a young kid, and he's trying to do the thing, and he's like doing half of what the kid
Yeah.
does. Like, yeah, he just, and he came back a little slimmer. Like, all right, good for you. At least you're doing something.
Well, that's funny because like when I do my fitness thing in the morning,
Uh-huh.
I've got a bunch of young kids, but I still try to push them, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, I'm almost 50 years old. Come on. inside I'm dying, but I'm not.
But you don't never know it.
Yeah.
You never know it.
Yeah.
Unless they watch this
Yeah.
episode.
But one of my things I always tell them, I'm not going to have you do something that I won't do or I've never done.
Yeah.
Right.
I try to lead by example in that way. So.
Yeah, I do that
a good way
with
to do
him because he has this guy is hard-headed. He's stubborn as hell. Every time I tell him, I can do this, and this, he goes, show me.
Yeah.
So I always have to show me. He always lands on his ass. He's like, okay, I'm a believer. Okay, what's
Yeah.
next?
Yeah.
He's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Trust but verify, right?
Exactly. See, he gets it. He gets it. I trust
Yeah.
everything that you say, but I gotta see it.
You got to see it. Yeah.
Gotta see it.
Absolutely.
It's silly because then he gets knocked on his ass and he's like wondering why. And then
I wonder why.
And then
I'm like, oh, no, no, it
secretly, I
works.
know he's plotting my death.
Yeah, I really
Or
am.
maybe that's just the way he learns.
Dude, I'm writing his eulogy
You know?
already.
Yeah, he's been.
Go ahead. I'm gonna have a few jokes in there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be funny.
That's hilarious.
Who are your heroes growing up in martial arts?
In martial arts,
And when did you
I think
realize they
heroes
were?
in general.
Well, the thing is, when we were young, when we first get in there, the only guy that you really looked to was the guy who was teaching, no matter who he was. Whether
Yeah.
it was the main instructor or the junior
The-
instructors or whatever,
top
they were your
guy.
heroes, right? But after you got to a certain point, you started hearing names. You're like, ooh, who's that guy? Ooh, who's that guy?
yeah. I mean, it's typical, you got Chuck Norris, you got Bruce Lee, military leaders, Chesty Puller, General Patton, MacArthur.
Oh wow,
So,
Chuck Norris, really?
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the one that you have trouble with.
Well,
I'm a
he got
kid.
his ass kicked by Bruce Lee, so there.
Yeah, but
I'm Asian.
yeah,
Oh,
but at the same, as a
No, although I will
as a
admit,
kid and coming up, and
Chuck
yeah.
was a badass.
Yeah.
When he cries, he cures cancer.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I just read his maybe 2 years ago. I read his biography, and so
Oh,
yeah.
his life story is very interesting. When you go through and read
I can
about
imagine,
how he came
yeah.
up in his study, it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's very fascinating.
And it's funny that we joke about Bruce Lee beating him, but he actually taught Bruce Lee a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He taught him how to kick better. He
Yeah.
started using kicks.
Well,
after-
they were the initial learning lab. You think about it.
yeah,
They were the guys that were
exactly.
collaborating and
Yeah.
talking. And maybe you got to try
Yeah.
this or do this. And I love that comes out of that. You become better.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's amazing.
And Bruce Lee didn't have the ego not to learn.
Yeah.
Right. He was willing to take in anything that came along, and so was Chuck. I mean, they were
Yeah.
all willing to share, and you
Right.
gotta love that. In kaiju, it's those 5 top guys. Parado, Ramos,
Yeah.
all these guys who said, "Hey, let's all just share. What would you do against this? What would you do against
Yeah.
that?" And then it's funny, and which is why the thing that we're going to be doing for our 25th episode is that
Right.
we're gonna Nain and I are coming up with some scenarios, and we're gonna have you guys as the guests. What would you do in your system
Sure.
with this?
I'm
Yeah.
bringing a helmet this time.
You should.
I'm
I-
totally
I-
bringing a helmet
should.
this time with a face guard and everything.
Yeah.
You should.
And
No, I think that's great.
And so far, everybody that's hearing about this, like, well, what are you guys gonna show? I'm like,
No,
No.
you don't get no
don't.
sneak
there's no heads
preview.
up.
Don't share. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the what if. I like the what if scenarios. I like the what if questions.
Yeah.
know?
And the thing is, and I've always hated what ifs.
Yeah.
Because what ifs can go forever.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, what if he does this? What if he does that?
Yeah.
What if he doesn't?
Yeah.
What if you kill him on the first one? And then you go to jail.
Yeah, we do a couple. We go a couple deep to some the contras or counters.
Right.
A couple deep in there just
See,
in
but
case for the what
but
ifs.
that's not so much what if as it is just a variation.
Yeah.
Or possibilities because you're already in that moment. You've already
Yeah.
gone through 1 or 2 different strikes, and then there's only so many things that can happen
Exactly.
after that.
Exactly.
But from just a neutral position,
Yeah, it can
oh,
go
he
on
throw
forever.
a rock,
It can go on forever,
Right,
you know?
and then that's the one he's referring to.
Yeah, and I
that
hate
is
that.
is a good training.
I
tool.
had one of my students who constantly kept on doing it. Well, what if I did this to you? I'm like,
Everyone has one of those students.
Yeah, but he was like
Yeah.
6 foot something, and then we
Yeah.
knocked him on his ass, and he was like, "Okay, I'll start learning."
Yeah,
all
everybody,
right, I won't ask anymore.
yeah,
Because that just drives me crazy.
yeah,
Like, just listen to what I'm trying to teach you. Forget about the what ifs.
Yeah.
Because those aren't going to happen if you do these things right now.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. It can be a little frustrating.
Yeah. I just punched you in the throat, and you're asking, "What if you?" No, it won't happen.
so you have a couple of those guys.
Yeah, you get a couple that ask that, and right before I discount it, I think, okay, why are they asking that question? What have I not done as a teacher? And so
Yeah.
I run that.
No, that's
through
a valid thought
I run
process,
that through my
yeah.
gamut of my thinking, and so sometimes next time when I show it again, I'll say, okay, for those of you who are wondering if they did this, then I might
Right.
throw it in there. But I tend to try to answer. There's not too much of that anymore. But in the beginning, I'd get a beginning student. What if they do this? Or what if they do
always
this?
the
Or what if they,
beginners. are like
what if
that.
we do this?
Yeah, definitely.
And what the problem is, they just keep going on this tangent. And then, okay, but if they did that, it just snowballs into, you got to come back because everyone's like,
You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
That's a kung fu movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because in kung fu movies,
Yeah.
that's why the fights can go on for a half hour because they do this. Oh, you do that. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
do this.
yeah.
And it just
Yeah.
and that's all of the what ifs are in that movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's what this means. Oh, that's
Never
what
thought
would
of it that
happen.
way, but yeah, that makes sense.
Right? 'Cause that's what it is. Well, if you do that, well, what if I do this? Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, what if you...
I will use my tiger, and you will
Right.
use your horse, and then I will use my crane, and then you use your viper,
It just goes back and forth.
and then that guy shot us because
You know,
we
one
weren't
of the
paying
things that
attention.
Yeah.
one of the things that I always like to say, and I say it tonight also, it says, everything is counterable, and everything is not counterable, given time.
Yeah, there's windows of opportunity.
Right?
Yeah.
Given time.
Given time, and I like that. I like that concept. I say everything has a window of opportunity, and also for the application of something. If I go to do a wrist lock on you, there's a window of opportunity where you can get out of it. There's a
you can stop
There's a-
it
yeah.
or get above it and get behind
yeah,
it. whatever.
exactly. And so knowing these windows of opportunities and how to create windows of opportunities is really important.
Yeah, and that's what we call creating time, giving time and taking time.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
it's like, oh, where do I put that? Oh, here, I'll put it here. We have I have this thing called the barrel chest, and it always freaks people out. It goes, why that? It's because if you think about it, this
Yeah.
is your barrel chest. Everything in here is safe. If I collapse my barrel chest, it's because I want you to come in. I can get closer. I can do stuff.
Okay.
Then I can push you back out. Along with the barrel chest, I can just guide you somewhere else. So I'll have to turn. So now I'm pushing you there. If I get, good. Then I collapse this one, bring you back in. So
Right.
those are my way of giving time and taking time.
Mhm.
By pushing it out, I'm creating more time for me.
Yeah.
By bringing it here, I have less time for you to react to whatever I'm doing.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're playing with time and distance.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's the theory of relativity in colleague.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's a really good explanation. And I remember you talking that a little bit with Coach
Mickey.
Mike. Yeah, Mickey. Yeah.
Mickey. Mickey's a hoot.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
I
yeah,
remember
that
talking
guy's
about that, yeah.
fun.
I think he's on Redland.
Yeah.
Mickey, I'm talking about you. Yes. 'Cause he's
If he's not, he should be.
Yeah.
Mickey's an awesome guy, though.
Yeah.
He's a hoot.
Oh man,
Yeah, I want some of his blood.
Oh,
he's,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's full of energy.
he's
yeah.
just-
you
going.
can't stop him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Hey,
I'm telling you, he's
can you
taking
imagine this is the calm version of him though?
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
even more whack in his the younger days.
When he talked the story about just wanting that boba,
Yeah.
you can almost see that if it wasn't for that,
Yeah.
he would just hog about crazy in that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, I just want my boba.
I just want my boba, man. Yeah, yeah.
Mickey, sorry, we love you.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh God.
He's a cool guy, and he's got this desire to learn,
Yeah.
and it's what you want every student to have.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean,
yeah.
you always pray for that kind of a student. I got it in him that he's just constantly coming back. It's like, hey, Rick, how,
Right.
how. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Stop for a second.
Listen.
What's funny is that mentality that really got me into teaching. I had a coworker who wanted to take what we're doing at work, and he wanted to learn specifically our art. And his name's Travis Pond, one of my black belts now.
Oh wow.
And he's like, "Can you teach me?" I was like, "No, I don't want to teach." And he's like, "Can you teach me?" He kept bugging me. And finally, I said, "You know what? Come Sunday to my class, 8:00 in the morning, and I'll teach you."
Right.
So I remember it was in the morning. I get
He
up
was there
it was
7:30.
early. My wife said, "She's like, why are you up so early?" I was like, "This guy at my work wants me to teach him. He's not gonna. I doubt he's gonna show up." And I'm drinking coffee,
Taking
and
your
she's
time,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay." Ding ding. Oh shit.
He showed up.
He showed up, and so he's like, I'm here. He's got sweatpants on and a t-shirt.
Of course.
Oh, he showed up
he's-
and he was
I'm ready.
eager.
Yeah.
That's
He was
even
ready.
worse.
So I was like, all right, let's go to the side of the house. And I just start teaching him some basic, our empty hands, Filipino boxing,
Right.
going through our boxing, boom, 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 teaching him some boxing stuff, and then teaching him some 12 strikes. And he goes in, he's like, oh, that was great. When can I come back? And I was like, all right, next Sunday, 9:00 in our just come back.
Because I want to get
Let
some
me see
sleep.
this in. Yeah.
So he shows up again, and then my neighbors next door, they're like, what are you doing, neighbor? I said, just teaching some martial arts. You do martial arts? And I said, do you mind if I send my boy over? His son comes over. The next week, Travis brings a neighbor, and he brings his son, and brings his friend's son, and so the class started getting bigger, bigger, just word of mouth.
Just
Yep.
snowballed.
And I'm teaching, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
God damn it, what's going on here? I don't want to teach. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want. But little bit, I start transforming. I start seeing people appreciating the love I have for my art.
Right.
And they're walking home and they're excited. And they're like, I learned something. And I
Can't
was
wait
like,
till next week.
yeah, and that started feeding me. And I'm like, oh, and then my wife's like, so is this going to be like a full-time thing or what's going on here,
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, we'll just see where it goes. No one's going to last. And before you knew it, it just, we started getting a few revolving door people, but
7 years.
yeah.
This guy won't leave.
Now, when he walked in, did you know that he was going to stick around, or did you think that, he'll be out in a month?
Well, I'll tell you what.
I was one of 2 Mexicans that walked in that day.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
here's the funny thing, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a way of presenting our system that people want to come back.
Okay.
It's I don't know. People always tell me you should have been a salesman,
Uh-huh.
right? For whatever that means.
He
And I'm
definitely
like,
should have more money than
Yeah.
he does now.
yeah, and when I talk about, because I have such a passion when I talk about something,
Right.
and I'll show and I'll prove why what I'm saying is correct.
Right.
Because I throw science into it, and they're like, you can't cheat science, and they see it, they're like, oh my God, you're right, that should work that way because, and they understand the science, they're like, oh yeah, that is right, velocity and force creates, oh yeah, and we go through this whole thing. By the end of it, it's like, where do I sign up?
Yeah.
Right? And pretty much what happened to him, he came in one day, yeah, I saw that sign and I was just kind of curious, all right, come back next weekend. He was there, and all right, come back again, and he just kept coming back, and every time I'd show him something, he got to be more and more eager about, ooh. And then he wants to try to get to the other end right away. You know how you that student's like, oh, show me all. You're like,
Yeah, fast forward.
yeah, and you're like, slow down, goddammit.
Yeah, I'd have my class, and then I'd stick around for the advanced class. Oh, you're not a part of it, but you can watch. So I just watch as much as I possibly could and just take in as much as I possibly could.
Like I said, he's that one student you want to have.
Yeah.
Because, he's going to make your stuff grow. He's going to get it up beyond you. 7 years later, here he is still, and look where he's at. I mean, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I push him in front of everything.
Yeah.
I give him the platform.
Because
I say,
you want me to get hurt.
Yeah, I don't like pain. I'm allergic to it. But